We're gonna wait a few more minutes for folks to get in. We are going to watch one video, and then we're going to do the topic questions in the AP classroom today. All right, so we have been working on uh, Unit 3 in Canvas. So if you want to take a look. And 3, so we're going to look at 4 today. So give it a few more minutes. Ethan's usually the first one here. All righty, good afternoon, good afternoon. All right, so we are in Friday was kind of a crazy day. Those of you who missed taking the tests, we did 2 makeup tests on Friday. So if you missed those, we'll do those. We'll worry about those tomorrow. But today, if you go to Canvas, yeah. Mhm. All right, Sadie, yes. So I'll pull those up tomorrow during our short day, and then anybody, because it wasn't just you, it was a couple of people were absent on Friday. So we'll worry about um, making up that test tomorrow. Today, I want you to um, take a look at Canvas. So log into Canvas, and I'll wait another few minutes. A couple of folks still coming in. Oh, and I have to upload some information for you. Let me, do I have it up? No, I don't have it up. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, so you go to Canvas and go ahead and log into 3.4, give that a look. But there's something I need to upload for you all for and taking those of you who are taking the AP test. All right. So they just sent this to me. You are doing the exam, what they call the digital blue book. And there's certain ways that you have to be able to do the math that's on the test. So they're sending this guideline. So I'm going to put this in the section of resources on your AP homepage. So just look out for that. Digital entry of mathematical operations. So again, those of you who are taking the AP test, um, there will be some calculation, like when we're doing carrying capacity, like what we're going to talk about today. There's some ways to calculate the way things go. So they're giving you some symbols to work with. So I'm going to upload this to resources. So let me do that now. Where is, okay. You come back here, let me go to the home page. Do this while we're waiting on anybody else who might be coming late. All right, under class resources, that's where I'm going to put it. Okay, so right under the College Board here, I'm going to add, hopefully, I'm going to add this. I'm going to upload the document. Okay, so that's where that's going to be. So let me close the one that I had open so that I can tell if this one opens. Okay, I gotta save it first. All right, I'm just testing to make sure that the link works for you, that you actually see it. So again, that is just a reference page for those of you who are taking the environmental science AP exam. And that will help you with the math because it is an online exam. So there's certain ways that you're going to have to enter uh, things to this powers and exponents. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, mine is taking a little while to load, but hopefully it'll be there. Anybody else come in yet? All right. Can somebody else test to see that it'll open for you? I know it's going to open for me because I have it on my file, but go to resources on your homepage and test to see if that will open for you. And you're looking to pull up this digital environmental science um, entry page. And then just let me know if it worked for you. And while you're doing that, I'll pull up the video. So we're going to stay. I'm not assigning the videos that are in the AP classroom, so I'm going to stick with the series of condensed videos that are on YouTube that are assigned for the chapter. So we've done excuse me, just to do a recap. We have already done generalists and specialists and K versus R selected species, and that's what we quizzed on Friday. We already watched the video on survivorship curves. So today we're going to watch the video on carrying capacity. Okay. And we're going to watch that together. And then I'll give you a chance to come back and read over what they have in here. But then after that, we're going to, he always ends up with the topic questions. So we're going to do the topic questions in the AP classroom. All righty. Was anybody able to pull up that math sheet? Yes, no? Okay, thank you, Van. All right, Van got it. So it's there. And like I said, for everybody's not taking the test, but for those of you who are taking the test, and I'll remind you again that that is there. I'm just trying, as they send things to me, I will start stacking them in the resource section of your um, course page. All right, so we are going to watch carrying capacity today.
Today we'll be talking about topic 3.4, which is carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is a relatively simple concept, but we'll look at some more complex examples of how it can be determined by different resources or even predator-prey relationships. So one way to think about carrying capacity is kind of like the maximum occupancy limit for a restaurant or a building. If you look around a restaurant, they often have a maximum occupancy limit posted somewhere in the building, and it's based on how many customers they can seat and serve at one time. So the limiting resource in the restaurant is usually space or seats, or could be wait staff, how many servers they have at one time. Populations in an ecosystem are the same way. Each ecosystem has a carrying capacity for a given species, and it's based on resource availability. Things like food, water, habitat needs such as nesting sites. These are the main factors that determine carrying capacity in natural ecosystems. We call these limiting factors since they limit how many individuals can survive in a given population. Carrying capacity is different for each species though. So while this yellow line in the graph could be the carrying capacity for deer in an ecosystem, the carrying capacity for wolves would likely be a lot lower since they have different habitat and food needs. You'll also notice that populations usually don't exist perfectly at the carrying capacity, but instead fluctuate around it, and we'll talk about why that is later on in the video. Let's take a look at our objectives for the day. So we need to be able to describe what carrying capacity is and to describe the impact it has on ecosystems. In order to do that, we need to know that when populations go over their carrying capacity, which is called overshoot, there's a die-off that follows, usually because they've depleted a resource such as food. We also need to know that sometimes the die-off is catastrophic, meaning that it isn't just a little dip back below the carrying capacity, but a major decline in population size. This can happen if resources are severely depleted or if the population becomes really dense, allowing a severe disease outbreak. Could even lead to famine, which again is going to lead to a massive die-off and a decline in population size. Our suggested science practice for the day is data analysis and specifically explaining what the data illustrates about an environmental issue. So remember that every population has a carrying capacity, and it's based on the resource needs of that species and the availability of those resources in a given ecosystem. We call these resources limiting resources, and they're most often food, water, or space, such as habitat or hunting areas. It's important to remember, though, that we...
All right, I paused it because you need to be, especially... Okay, hold on, somebody's coming in. You should be taking notes. These are also listed in your playlist in the YouTube playlist. So if you need to watch them again, they are there. I've actually uploaded all of the videos for up to 3.9. So they're all in the AP playlist. Right now, Gabrielle? Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to start this back. Give me a minute. Okay, well, let's watch the video first, and then when everybody's doing the rest, I will let you know. Okay, so I said that to say you need to be aware of the vocabulary word carrying capacity. You need to know what the limits are, what they mean by environmental limits. And again, he mentioned they're going to be different for different species. So what one species needs is different from what the other species needs. So their level of capacity is going to be different. So make sure that you are keeping up vocabulary. Again, it's a written exam. You have to write paragraphs. And so you want to be able to use the vocabulary. That's how they grade. You got to use the vocabulary. Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right, so I'm going to start this back.
Don't usually see a population maintain a perfect carrying capacity like this theoretical graph in figure 1. Usually populations experience overshoot where there are briefly more organisms than the ecosystem can support, and then a die-off as some of these organisms starve or are eaten by a predator or fail to find the habitat they need in order to survive. An example of overshoot and die-off is the population cycle that large mammals like deer will sometimes follow. Since deer mate in the fall and then give birth in the spring, there's a sudden and dramatic increase in the deer population each spring as the new fawns are added to the ecosystem. There are too many new fawns for the vegetation to support, and so many deer struggle to find food resources and die off, which brings the population back below its carrying capacity. Here we have an example of a more intense die-off that resulted in a population crash. So reindeer are large herbivores who need to eat a lot of vegetation in order to survive. And in the winter, when vegetation is scarce, lichen are a very valuable food source for them because they still grow during the cold winter months. In 1910, a small herd of 25 reindeer were introduced to St. Paul Island. At first, there's plenty of vegetation and the population grew gradually from about 1910 to 1930. But then as the population got larger, it started to grow exponentially. So growth is very rapid from 1930 to 1937. And while we can't tell exactly from this graph what the carrying capacity is, it's safe to assume that the reindeer seriously overshot their carrying capacity. What this led to was the reindeer heavily overgrazing that important winter food source of lichen. Since the lichen take a long time to regrow, and some scientists estimate that the density of the reindeer population at its peak population size in 1938 was 3 times what is usually their maximum density, there was a severe population crash down to only 8 individuals in 1950. However, reindeer have proved to be more of a generalist species than previously thought. When they exhausted the supply of lichen, which has historically been their most important winter food source, the reindeer of St. Paul Island adapted to eat and dig up grasses during the winter. This allowed them to survive and has allowed their population to gradually recover to a size of about 400 today. We can also see a carrying capacity that is limited less by food or water availability and more by predation. So the hare is the main prey of the lynx, and we can see that their population sizes can influence each other in a very predictable pattern. So it's a fairly repetitive cycle. It doesn't really matter where we start in the cycle, but we'll start in number 1 on the graph. And in step 1 here, the hare population starts to increase dramatically with such a small lynx population. So without their predator to keep them in check, they grow very rapidly. Then in step 2, we see the lynx population grow very rapidly because there's such an abundance of hare, which is their main food source. However, in step 3 here, the lynx population has grown so rapidly that they start eating the hare faster than the hare can reproduce, leading to a crash in the hare population. Then as we look at step 4 here, the lynx population is going to crash as well, following that huge decline in their main food source. So the carrying capacity for lynx has decreased dramatically because the limiting resource of food has decreased dramatically. And as you can guess here in step number 5, we're going to start the whole thing over again.
Okay, I paused it there because you have to be able to interpret the graph the same way he did. So you have to be able to look at and explain why you're having these peaks and valleys in terms of the population. Okay, so you're looking at when they have food, they will grow. When they eat up all the food and there's no food source left, then you have drastic falls in population.
So the hare population is going to start growing in the absence of their main predator, and the whole cycle starts again. So if we were to try to establish a carrying capacity here for each based on the graph, we might draw the line for the hare around 60,000, and we might draw the carrying capacity for lynx at around 30,000, since these seem to be the values for each that they sort of fluctuate above and below. Our science skill for today is explaining what data illustrate about an environmental issue, and the practice FRQ will be to explain the impact that this canine virus had on the moose population. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful. Subscribe for future apes video updates.
Okay, he's just advertising. So all right. So like I said, this video is also in the playlist if you need to watch it again. So what you're going to do now is log into the AP Classroom. And I've only assigned the topic questions, not the videos. Sometimes you feel like you're signing life away. All right, so kind of backed up a little bit and assigned the ones that we've already done. So you have, so you should have survivorship. Let me look up. Come on, go back. Okay. You should have the topic questions just worry about 3 and 4. I did assign 5, but we haven't done 5 yet, so don't worry about that. If I feel like everybody's finished with those, then we can look at the videos for 5 and then worry about those. But for now, I just want you to do the topic questions um, and they've already been assigned for 3.3 and 3.4. All right, Gabby, you still want a breakout room? Okay. Uh, Give me a second. Okay.
You don't.
Okie dokie. All right, I'm back. If anybody has any questions. All right, so again, everybody should be working on in the AP classroom. While you're doing that, I'll take attendance, but if you have any questions, just let me know. In the AP classroom, the assignments are 3.3 and 3.4. You're looking at the topic questions. So each one of those has 3 topic questions for you to work on. I did assign 3.5, but we haven't watched the video. So if I feel like everybody is completed those 2, we can go ahead and watch 3.5 as well. I tell you what, rather than if they only have 1 video, let me go ahead and I'm just going to assign the 3.5 in the AP classroom. And we'll do that one instead. They just have the 1. All right. So you have 3.3 topic questions, 3.4 topic questions, and 3.5 the video and topic questions. It only shows you the videos. It doesn't, I didn't assign the video. 3.4 is carrying capacity. And it's already assigned, so I can't assign it again. You don't see that, Deborah? Okay. Let me make sure that it's been assigned to everybody. Oh, okay. It says already assigned. Okay. Um, Anybody else not see them? Because I can't assign them again because it's already assigned. 3.3 and 3.4. That's what your focus is today. Now, again, if you need vocabulary, you can check back with your Canvas page so that you remind yourself what case strategies are and R strategies. No, hold on. I'm going to share my page and show you what I'm looking at. Why are they not sharing? Okay. All right. You should be looking at these right here. I don't know if it looks the same for you as it does for me, but this is what you should be looking at. So I did not assign the video for 3, and I did not assign the video for 4. I can.
Okay, so it's not labeled as like 3.3. It's like only saying like carrying capacity quiz, and then the other one is by the actual label of it.
Okay. Okay. So you want survivorship and carrying capacity. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
And then after that, it would be population growth. But like I said, yeah, I did assign. So I went ahead and assigned that video as well. Thank you. Okay, and like I said, I did open up 3.5 because it looks like a few of you are already done with 3.3 and 4. So go ahead and do 3.5 as well. So you're going to watch that video and then do the topic questions. Okay. I don't know how to reassign them without, because it does, once I assign it, it doesn't allow me to reassign it. So if you get 0 on a section, make sure you go back and look at it again so that you know, because you'll see these questions again. So if you did not do well on a section, please go back and look at the correct answers. And if you still don't understand why it's wrong, I could do a breakout room and specifically deal with that question. And again, please read these through slowly and take your time. Don't try to just answer all of them just to get it done. And again, do 3.5. So 3.5 video has been assigned as well as the questions. And what I'm doing is I'm adding all 3 together. So it's going to be 1 submission in the grade book for a total of 9, since each one is worth, rather than have 3 different columns worth 3 points, I'm adding all 3 together for a submission of 9. And again, I do have 4 of you who need to do the quiz, so we'll do that tomorrow. So again, you're doing 3.3, 4, and 5. All right, time is almost up. Anybody have any questions? Anybody not able to get into one of the assignments? So again, you were supposed to do 3.4, 3, 4, and 5. And 3.5, you had to watch the video. And as far as the grade book is concerned, I'm going to take all three and combine them. So there were three, each one was out of three, so you have a score of 9. Okay. Some of you have finished all three, and some of you haven't started any of them yet. We are going forward tomorrow, so please make sure that you don't fall behind. I will also say this is a long chapter and we do have to keep moving because we do have a deadline for the exam. So we got to cover all the topics so that you're well prepared for the exam. Uh-huh. Okay.